Hey guys, happy Sunday. How are we all? I hope you've all had a good weekend so far. Now, I just wanted to do a quick review of one of the comics that I read last week. There was only 3 or 4 that came out that I wanted to read, and this beautiful comic here, Joker Harley Criminal Sanity #2, was the one that I read and was stood out as an amazing comic this week. Now, I'll tell you what, Criminal Sanity #1 really did get the whole DC Black Label disturbing, dark, gritty comic thing out there in the public. #1 ended with Harley and the GCPD and Jim Gordon on a crime scene of the virtuous man who she thought it was. Now, they obviously thought it was the killer, the park bench killer, who was the killer from the beginning of the comic, who literally they found a half torso on a park bench with the bottom of his body missing. Park bench killer, wham bam, thank you man. They think they found the killer at the end of the #1. He's left the clue as of a virtuous man. If you look over historically, he's a 5 or 6 pointed symbol. That's how the victim was left at the end of #1. #2, we pick up again. There's been another gory crime scene. This is starting to become an absolutely amazing, graphical, gritty, dark, disturbing, contented comic. Now, I'll tell you what, Cami Garcia has done a fantastic job of writing this story with the artwork from Mike Mayhew and Miko Sayan. The 3 of them are portraying Harley and Joker in a way that I haven't seen before. Now, we all know that Harley Quinn is an amazing psychiatrist, and she's now, if you've read #1, you would know that she's joined the GCPD. She's helped giving her talents to solve crimes and stuff like that. The rest of the GCPD don't really think that she's any good. They don't really want to give her the time of day. Jim Gordon, on the other hand, we get to see that he's really gaining and really he's really admiring what she's doing for the GCPD. So he's building a really good relationship with her, but I think she knows deep down that she's going to have to work a lot harder to get the other members of the police precinct on her side. This comic, we really get to see how Harley Quinn is an amazing criminologist. I think that's the right, criminologist. Let's go with that, criminologist. She's obviously a great psychiatrist. She knows the criminal mind. She knows how they think, or so she thinks she does. Now, one of the pages I will show you in a minute. She wants to go above and beyond. So when she's left the crime scene, she seems to take her work home with her. In this comic, we know that she's single. I'm just going to show you the page now that I mean. Now, she seems to want to take her work home with her, and this is the page that I'm talking about. Look at that. Look, she's clearly taking it home. She's analysing every single detail, and one of the calls she makes, she thinks, after going over everything, she thinks the killer is Victor Zsasz. She rings up Arkham Asylum. She speaks to Dr. Crane. Dr. Crane's like, look, I'm so sorry. You think you might have found your killer, but it is not Victor Zsasz. He has not left this building. We do not let him out of his sight. He kills everyone and he marks on his body. There is no way he has left the asylum. Then as she does that, she gets a message on her phone that says, please call me back. I think I found who you're looking for. His name is John Kelly. And then with the name John Kelly, it does a flashback in the comic, and it goes back to the little boy called Joe, who we see in the first comic. He's abused by his dad. His mum's died. In this comic, we pick up from that backstory. One of the most powerful, disturbing images in this comic is based on domestic violence. It is disgusting, but also in the same time it's very powerful, it's very impactful, and it plays a very important part in this comic, and it is this part here. I'm going to show you now. It is, let me just find it, this part here. So obviously it's another flashback to when Joe was a child. He dresses up in a clown mask as Halloween. He's clearly trying to get over his mother's death. He dresses up as a clown for Halloween, goes to show his dad that he's got a clown mask on. His dad turns around and says, how dare you get over your mum so quickly by wearing a clown mask, picks him up by his neck, punches him in his face, punches his son in the face. This is one part of the comic I was wincing. I was like, oh my god, they've actually shown this in a comic. And it stands out. It's a very powerful moment. And the second image I'm about to show you really shows how domestic violence can have an effect on a child. It is not agreed with. It is absolutely disgusting. But in comic book form, it just shows how dark and disturbing comics can be, but how powerful they can be, how they can be a talking point. And if you've ever experienced domestic abuse, or you know someone that has, please, please, please do the right thing and talk about it. This is the image I'm going to show you. It is there. So even though this poor kid has been beaten by his dad, he's still not going to let nothing stand in his way of him going trick-or-treating. This is very significant for me. This is very, very significant. If I take you closer, look at his face. You can see that he's still going out. He's got the broken mask. And for me, that makes it even more scarier, because with them flashbacks, we start to think, could he be the killer? Could he be the Joker? And the way that Cami Garcia has written this story, and the way that Mike Mayhew and Miko Soyan have drawn it, it all comes together. My imagination ran wild, and hopefully yours will do the same. And you start to think, if he is the Joker, you can see why. And I'll tell you what, in this comic, the portrayal that they have done, for me, was a cross between Jared Leto's Joker from the Suicide Squad and the one and only, the greatest Joker, in my eyes, to ever be played on screen, is Heath Ledger's The Joker from Dark Knight. Now, you'll understand what I mean. This comic is, for me, it was a movie, cinematographic, noir story, very black and white, very graphical, very empowering, flashes and pops of colour. But this, for me, really does stand out as one of the standout pages of the comic. Look at that. Black and white, but the only three colours we see are the green hair, the white skin, and the trademark red lipstick on the Joker. Now, this, for me, is a definite crossover of Jared Leto and Heath Ledger. Look at the eyes. There's no feeling or anything in them eyes. And for me, the one page that really stands out and has significant resemblances is this one. If you look there, for me, this has similarities between when Heath Ledger, dressed as a Nerf, left Gotham General and detonated it. All eyes were on him, everything was behind him, massive explosion. The only thing that ensued after this was violence and tragedy. And I feel this is similar to that. If you flick through the comic, I'm not going to go too far into it, but if you have a look in after that, you'll see what I mean. This, for me, was an amazing comic. It's criminally driven. It's a cat and mouse game between the GCPD, Harley Quinn, and the killer that they think they know they've already have. If the killer does turn out to be the Joker, and it is Joe, the backstory is very relevant. I think it is. I think Joe does become the Joker. You'll understand what I mean when you read this comic. It's a great comic. It's dark, it's disturbing, it's gritty, it's gripping, it's exciting, it's an emotional roller coaster ride. DC Black Label have once again smashed it out of the park. This, for me, is my best DC Black Label so far. There's so much involved in it. I had to read number 1 again because this one was delayed. It was meant to come out mid-November. It came out last week. So some might say that's a problem. Some might say it's a blessing in disguise that it came out so far away that I've been given the opportunity to read number 1 again. For me, I am the latter. I read number 1 straight onto number 2. Absolutely fantastic. I love this comic. Geeky Guy Comics gave it a 5 geeks out of 5. Read it. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share, comment. Let me know what you think about this comic. If you haven't read it and you need suggestions on what comic to read, if you want to get into this, drop me a message. I will get back to you. Guys, it's been absolutely amazing. You're the ones I do it for. I just want to give a massive shout out to Rod the Rican. Without you, dude, I wouldn't have got over the 100 subscribers on YouTube, Mark. It's another milestone for Geeky Guy Comics. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the social support you give me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. It doesn't go unnoticed. Guys, I love you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon.